What's up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Basking Broodscale on the play for game 1. And all we need right now is a blade and a payoff. We have plenty of payoffs in this deck, so really we're looking for a blade. So Tezzeret does get us a bit of both worlds, so that would be good. It looks like this is going to be Eldrazi we're up against. We'll play the Grove, we'll pass, and pass. Let's see what flavor of Eldrazi we're up against. Is it Ramp? Is it Tron? Looks like Tron to me. Alright, there's Towers. We do need to compete with Karn, which is going to be the hard part here. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, we now just need a payoff. So in that case, second Basking Broodscale, not what I need. Because we can equip, we can cast. Yeah, see, we're going to actually be one short next turn. So yeah, we'll grab a second Broodscale. We'll play the Broodscale as bait. Alternatively, if I play the Blade, no, that wouldn't be worth it. Play the Blade now, we had a Temple. Even then, we still wouldn't have had enough. So in that case, yeah, we'll hold. No reason to reveal the Blade. Though I do get concerned about them having a TKS, admittedly. We'll pass. Things like can't play TKS next turn, so we're good there. There's Power Plant. Looks like they might have Natural Tron. So yeah, my thought here would be to cast Broodscale, cast Blade, and then pass. Again, we still need a payoff here in order to win in 2 turns. They know we have a Broodscale. They don't know that we have 2 Broodscale, however. So again, all we need is the payoff. Warping Whale, that's still fine. So they're scared about us winning next turn. For good reason, too. So yes, again, my biggest fear here is that they're going to have a TKS and they'll rip my hand. So I think it is correct to play Karplusan. Cast Broodscale. Cast Blade. Pass. Yeah, the payoff in hand. So now they need interaction for the Broodscale. Lab, no Tron, Tuck the Devourer. Do you have Karn? So you have a K command then. Let's see. How shall we proceed? They have a K command, X equals 2. That much seems clear. So if I attempt to equip, they'll just K command. They don't know about the second one, however, though I don't think I can equip twice. We can attempt to equip. So I think it might just be right to do this. Start with Flush Raker. Again, they don't know about the second Broodscale. Yeah, they use the K command on the Flesh Raker. They don't have Karn, clearly. And that should work. Triggers. triggers. You have to get rid of it now. If you don't, you lose. Do you have the K command is the question. Yep, there's the K command. I guess I should have attacked first, admittedly. So we're going to scry, draw, and exile. Not much we can do about that. Attempt to equip. I am tempted to equip it to the Flesh Raker here. Just so we have it on a body. That way if they play Karn, we can potentially just take Karn down. That's tempting. If I do that, we have the Basking Broodscale, so we'll be able to make another spawn, so that's not an issue. And pass in full. Again, this way if they have Karn, we can ideally just attack over Karn. Swamp. So definitely looking like a more traditional list, though I guess my Tezzeret list does now play a swamp as well. They have another 4, so they could have another K command. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In that case, I will trigger. And then tap. I guess actually no reason to tap that. Attempt to equip. Do you have another K command? Again, if you have another K command, you'll take it out. You do. Annoying. But not much we can do about that. Tap it for green. We'll adapt. Always yes, always yield. Trigger. We'll get rid of it. Yeah, K command's a good card in this matchup, admittedly. Equip. It fails, so it sticks to the Flesh Rake. I'll go attacking. And I will hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are currently 3 short of the Emrakul. Paying cost. Map. So they have Tron now. Tron. Yep. You have 8 mana. What do you have the cast of the question? Opponents used a lot of the removal. We know they have a Devoured tucked. They could always crack the Mind Stone to dig a bit deeper. Again, having the blade equipped to Flesh Rake has been beneficial. The Flesh Rake on its own can very well just end the game if they're not careful. They do now have an abundance of mana. Yeah, that Rumble hitting lands and Broodscale is not ideal. Karn. There's Karn. You have access to 4 mana. You could plus on Blade to detach it. That is a genuine consideration. In response, I would sack the spawns. Alternatively, you can minus, but I don't think you have anything that can actually deal with the Flesh Rake this turn. You could play, let's say, Ballista, but again, we can grow this above X equals 2, or toughness of 2. So Ballista would just kind of be left sitting there, but it would be allowed to protect Karn. Okay, they're going to go Mind Stone. So they are going to tick up. So a Cake Mint here would be good for us. And they can crack the Mind Stone, draw a card. That does make a bit of sense. Alright, smart play there. I need a Cake Command. Draw. Ballista unfortunately does not do the trick. So it does add 2 types to Yard. Hold up. Actually, better yet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We need the Springleaf Drum. Damn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. We are unfortunately 1 short. So in that case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. X equals 2. No reason to sack the spawns, I don't think, for this purpose. Though I guess we'll sack 1 if we attack is the thing. So I guess maybe going for 3 isn't wrong. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thing is, it replaces itself. We still need 1 more. But we do need to trigger the Flesh Rake. So let's be smart about it. And I guess it doesn't matter. There's an instance where the 1 damage will be relevant. X equals 3. Triggers. This way we can attack over the Mind Stone. They, of course, will block and then crack it to draw. We'll attack Karn. No block, draw card. And at the very least, it's likely that they have access to Leveler at the very least. At the very most, they're going to have access to a Battleship, which will be able to pop one of my non-creatures and then clear the board, including my spawns, meaning that I'll be short on Emrakul. Yeah, Karn definitely threw a wrench here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. Being 1 short was less than ideal. Again, the rumble was a bit rough. They draw a card. It triggers the Flesh Rake. Alright. Well, let's see what you grab with Karn. Like I said, Battleship or Leveler would be an issue, admittedly. Map. It's mana neutral, makes sense. Crack the map. Grab a tower. Karn -4. And they could go Leveler, Filigree, Silex for 0. Interesting choice. Why Silex over something that would be a bit more proactive? Huh. Trigger 1. Trigger 2. On the off chance it's relevant. Trigger 3. Phase change. 4 in hand. You have access to 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Really? 4 types in Yard. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're 4 short on Emrakul. Mindstone. You can't plus it this time. If you had a K command, you could K command the Flesh Rake, admittedly. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, I will go attacking at Karn. Show me the K command. X equals 4. That is unfortunate. X equals 5. Scry draw exile. That will resolve. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 2 short. So we find an E-temp. We can potentially rally back. But if Karn on board here, things are looking just a wee grim. I'm not liking the odds here. Karn -4. Let's see. Liquid metal coating would make sense if you want to keep me off of 13. Tormod's Crypt equally makes sense. Playing around Emrakul. So again, surprised not to see some form of finisher. Interesting. Again, a K command would be a significant boon. A second Karn. Well, that's going to lock things in, I fear. Honestly, I'm surprised that the first Karn didn't just grab a liquid metal. Stonebrain. If you name Emrakul, I'm going to question the reason why you went with Tormod's Crypt, but at least with perfect knowledge now, you'll be able to Tormod's Crypt proactively if you don't name Emrakul the Promised End. What do you name? Again, we're not dead yet. If they do name Emrakul, though, they take out Broodscale. I mean, I'm not sure that's entirely correct. But they definitely know about Emrakul. So they're going to Tormod's Crypt me because if I draw into a temple, and they're in trouble. 7, Sire's 7 deaths, or another K command. There's the Sire. Sire's fine. We'll pass in full. And you should Tormod's Crypt on the off chance I draw into one of my last 2 temples. Yep. So I need a K command here. Draw. Ancient Stirrings. Ancient Stirrings. Fleshraker, Emrakul, Grove, Bauble. We can't crack Bauble's the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not really where we want to be. So we'll play the Fleshraker. They know about that Emrakul in hands. They're going to make my life difficult. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. 2, 3, 7, 8. Yep. Alright. Emrakul. Karn minus. For the Stonebrain. We'll name Emrakul at this point. So it will draw me a card, however, which is incidentally irrelevant. Because I do find K command, I will be in a pretty good position. We have not found a K command somehow. In that case, I'll hold on the off chance we do draw into it, though it is unlikely. Right now we have 7. And not enough to exile the Flesh Rake, because that would have been ideal. Wait, what? Opponent, yeah, forgot something important here. The one in my hand. Fascinating. I was actually kind of looking forward to drawing a card, not gonna lie. Can't block. Down to 13. This does present a 2-turn clock. Actually, that is lethal on board. But we do have the ability to block the Flesh Raker. Surprised they didn't crack the Mind Stone. Rumble. There's a Blade of the Blood Chief. K Command and Yard. We haven't played a land for a turn. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Neither one of these really do much, unfortunately. The Grove might be the best option, however. Well, I guess it does add a type to Yard. Whereas the Soul Guide will also get me... Yeah, let's grab Soul Guide, I suppose. 5 types in Yard, trigger. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Triggers. Exile. We'll just say the Warping Well. And then Pass and Full. And Pass and Full. And we will pass. Karn plus the Mind Stone, that's fine. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So in that case, I will want to block with the Flesh Rake or the Spawn. We'll take 9 down to 4. Yes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We'll block with a Spawn. And done. Down to 4. Blade Trigger. End step. And draw. Ballista. And trigger. Our turn, comrade. Alright, and we pass. So we can knock Karn offline. Ugin's Lab, what do we drop into? TKS. That is a bit annoying, admittedly. Main. So what we can do is minus Karn, get Karn off board. We can slam Sire into Emrakul. Sire will be down. I mean, you can play the TKS, but I don't really think that's wise of me. We could crack the Mind Stone, but I also don't think that's wise of me. So yeah, so minus Karn. Trigger. I can't use its ability, so I'm going to say no. I will... We crack the Mind Stone is the question. They're going to draw into it anyways, but I don't want them to draw deeper. Go to combat, swing of Sire. Go to blocks. We block. We block. Assign damage. All 7 at Emrakul. You'll gain some life. That dies. Blade triggers. No reason to play the lab. And at that point, I will pass. And pass. Alright. Let's see if we can rally this back. Cracks the Mind Stone, draws a card. You know, Lab, TKS, and 2 unknown. We can block the spawn, no problem. We can draw an extra card of the Soul Guide. Broodscale is offline, however. Ugin. Ugin triggers no targets, of course. Ugin plus draws an extra card. Still 2 unknown. Still 2 unknown. Lab, TKS. TKS, ETBs. Yep. At this point, we're going to pause on end step. Eats the Ballista. Ballista out. And 2 unknown in hand. I'll crack the Soul Guide. Draw a card. Halfling. It's a decent blocker, I suppose. Draw. Might. So in that case, I will cast Might. Triggers. I will then tap. Suppose I'll just gain you a life. I don't want to tap the spawn. I want to be able to put it in front of something. Equip to you. And then Emrakul will attack Ugin. Ugin down. And we hold. So again, now we can feed the spawn as a blocker, Haywire Might as a blocker. All is dust. We'll get rid of the Haywire, or we'll get rid of the Halfling, but that's about it. Triggers. Still 2 unknown in hand. If we're not careful now, I can block the TKS and actually win that fight too. Warping Whale. Exile, you say. Well, I can tap it for green and sacrifice it to the Spring Leaf Drum. So tap for green, sacrifice, triggers, gain 2 life. Not ideal, but I think it's better to do that than alternative. Attacks, I will block. Triggers. And draw. K command will do the job. So in that case, I will attack with Emrakul. We attack the Flesh Raker. This is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 18, 19, 21, or 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Close, but no. So we'll just attack with Emrakul then. And we'll hold. Map. Map is mana neutral. I will ramp and exile. And done. And opponent scoops it up. That was a come from behind victory there. I will take it. That's Eldrazi Tron. And this is much more the traditional list. Alright, let's run it back. Alrighty. So let's see, what can we cut here? Cavern Souls is out. Damp Sphere is in. Thief is in. Dismember is an option. Might is okay. Not great, not horrible, admittedly. Soul Guide's out. Bauble has its applications, mainly to brick the Huguenot, which could be applicable, I suppose. So we could do something like this. Thief for Karn, Dismember for TKS. Haywire Might, again, is a little bit sketch, but again, it has its applications on the off chance. Especially for, like, Needle. That kind of does make me wonder if maybe the Wastscape is better. Cut the Might, cut 2 more Halfling. Keep Needle, Drum, and Bauble. We could cut Bauble, though. Cutting Bauble might make sense. Instead, keep a Halfling. Maybe better to keep a Flesh Rake, to be honest. Yeah, let's do that. Because this way, you still have Needle, Drum, Blades. Tezzeret can grab Blades. We have the Damp Sphere. We have Wastscape that can get rid of Needle, Flute, or other lock pieces. Yeah, this looks right. 4, 7, 10, 16. I guess I could do this instead. Alright, let's do that. On the draw for game 2, I will keep this. What do we pitch is the question. Probably Dismember, honestly. Keep. Pitch. Pass. You don't need to play Damp Sphere immediately, though actually, maybe we do. Stirrings. If you play Damp Sphere, it's going to turn off the Temple, which is relevant. That way they don't have access for Arcade Command X2. True. Pass. And pass. Ugin Lab. Yep. Friend. Are you forgetting something important? That's a Damp Sphere. It says no. Yeah, that was right. We played around a TKS. Did not want to deal with TKS beats if we could help it. In that case, let's start with Rumble. There's Temple. I'll play Beseiju, though. And there's Blade. I will grab Blade or Tezzeret. We'll grab the Blade. And we'll pass. You can crack. Four types in Yard. We'll pass. That's 3 mana. Mind Stone. 4 mana next turn. Draw. Thief. Thief is tempting, actually. Because it would keep him off of 4 for TKS, but I think instead 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah, we'll do that. Basking Broodscale. Blade. Pass. So they do TKS. They're going to be forced to take the Emrakul, lest we end up Emrakuling next turn. But then they do have to deal with an infinitely big Broodscale. They could always have K command, I suppose. Dismember 2 is good into this matchup. But I played it in advance to avoid the TKS ripping one part of the combo. So they take the Emrakul, then I'm kind of fine with that, because then there's the off chance we draw into a finisher, but it seems like they do have a K command then. I'll play the Karplusan, and we will attempt to equip to Broodscale. Bane cost. Yep, so there's the K command. They'll ramp the exile. I guess I should have, whatchamacallit. Could have adapted, I suppose. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Guess it would have been 10. We would have been 3 off. Again, I'm fairly certain that we're going to see a TKS land. I'm going to Thief. I'm going to eat the Mind Stone. Try and reduce the amount of mana you have available. We'll then equip. This way, if you sack the spawns, you grow my Thief. Probably beyond what you can have. Because it'll be a 6-7. I guess it will be smaller than a Sire, which would be a problem. Though, of course, you could have Ugin or try and play Ugin, but I'm not sure that would be wise. There's the TKS that we expected. Emrakul's out. We'll pass. We'll draw. No reason to reveal that we just drew into a Karplusan, so we'll pass at this point. No attacks, as the TKS is bigger than our Thief. We'll pass. Go into combat, swing of TKS. Down to 16. Triggers. And instant regret. There's a reason why I equipped it. This way, if you play that Ugin, it's going to get smacked in the face real quick. I ain't going to let that ult. And you're also tight on time here too. We're only in game 2 and I won game 1. Fleshraker. Draw. You know, opponent, I liked your play so much, I'm going to play my own. Again, no reason to reveal the Karplusan. We'll just pass. No attacks. And we'll pass. If this Fleshraker sticks on board, then that will become an issue for them, because then I can start creating blockers and a way to grow the Thief. We'll take the 4 down to 12, that's fine. Plays a mine. Map trigger. Okay. Down to 11. Another map trigger. Down to 10. Passing. Draw. Ancient Stirrings. So we have a Broodscale. I mean, yeah, we will grab the Broodscale. Any order. I'll play the Karplusan then, because we're going to need 3. equip. I guess we actually don't need to play the Karplusan. Though 3 equip. I guess we would be able to adapt, so let's do this. I will green 2 trigger yield ETB trigger attempt to equip, and we got there. Good stuff. All right, Damaging Sphere for the win. There's a reason why I like it in the sideboard over Trinisphere. It has much more broad applications, and this is a good example of it. What better way to beat one of my favorite decks with sideboard pieces from another one of my favorite decks? This seemed pretty similar to Ovenize's list, funny enough. Pretty straightforward. Though still a little bit confused by my opponent's choices of wish targets in game 1. I think they had better options that would have gotten them to the win earlier. Of that being said, we'll be back for match 2. Alright, we're back for match 2, the draw for game 1. All we're missing is the blade. Let's see what opponent is on. Ooh, looks like it is the mirror. We are finding a lot of Eldrazi today, eh? Double Temple is nice. We will start with the Haywire Might, just represent that we do have interaction. We'll pass. We do want the K command. And there's a Verdant Catacomb, so this might be the Gruul variant. Interesting. Is that our friend Broodscale? It is. Do you have the blade? Nope, Stirrings. That's bold of you to play the Broodscale in the face of a TK, or in the face of a Might. Well, I guess this could be traditional Tron, or mono green Tron, theoretically. Don't think that would work as well as I'd hope. We'll have to find a way to put Might into mono green Tron or Tezzeret Tron. Draw. Temple. We can just hold up the K command. We don't need to go in theoretically. Though it does rob them of a mana by doing so. So we'll do this now then. And done. There's Tezzeret. So I'm thinking if we go top, and draw, we'll pass. No reason not to attack, so we'll attack for 1. Down to 18, we'll pass. Two. Rumble. There's the blade. You whiff on 2 Stirrings. I imagine you take the blade. Choose blade. Yep, makes sense to me. You can tap the spawn, play the blade, but then you risk me mighting the blade. Cavern of Souls, okay. You're going to play our own Haywire Might. If you do, we might end up playing Ballista before the Tezzeret, theoretically. Might be correct to do so. Because they're kind of just both playing around each other. I mean, I think playing the Might would be right. 2. Potentially 3 mana. Is this a Sephiroth? Ballista for 1, so you can pop my Might. But why wouldn't you do it as soon as you could? Fascinating. Well, that was obnoxious. So, we have some options to consider here. We could Rumble. But then that means that we can't Haywire Might. Huh. The thing is, Ballista will likely pop our Might anyways. They don't have a payoff because they would need specifically Broodscale. And if they have Broodscale but nothing else, then forcing them to pop the Ballista is probably correct. So I do think that we have to hold it and play our own Ballista, as interesting as that is. So play our own Ballista for x equals 1. That way if they play their Might, we can pop their Might. Okay. They go to pop our Ballista, we can pop their Spawn. They go to pop our Might, we pop their Springleaf. So we have options available. 2 cards in hand. Okay, 1 unknown. Like I said, the worst case scenario is they have a Broodscale. They know we have Tezzeret in hand. One. Might. So you play the Might. So the question is, do I think I can win next turn? And I think the answer is no. Especially this Ballista here. Between Ballista and Might's a bit unfortunate. The thing we can do, though, is we can tick up on the Ballista. Well, they can also grow their Ballista, too, for that matter. Bit of an awkward standoff. Draw. We'll play a Forest. So again, we could Tezzeret - for a Blade. They can grow their Ballista, but then we can pop their Ballista in response. So I think it might just be right to either Rumble, get a Spawn, while keeping up our Might. Or we Tezzeret and go for Blade and set up for next turn. I think we do that. I will Tezzeret. Tezzeret minus for Blade of the Bloodchief. We'll hold. Fetch down to 17. You attempt to grow the Ballista. I'll pop the Ballista. You then attempt to pop our Might. That would make the most sense, because then Might can attack the Tezzeret. Well, that's a choice, but sure. So now we still have both Mights staring each other down. And we both have a Blade, but they do not know that I have the Broodscale. Plays a Temple, 1 unknown. Oh boy. This has gotten interesting. Another Tezzeret. So now we have our finisher. We could alternatively grab a Pithy Needle, or another Ballista for that matter. I think I'll start with a Rumble, though. And there's a second Basking Broodscale. So I'm gonna grab the Broodscale. We can cast and then not do much else though. But this might draw out a removal. All right, we'll hold. I guess another issue that I am struggling with here is an Emrakul. I definitely have the K command as expected. They're gonna ramp Exile. So I think they're trying to go for Emrakul, which would make sense. And the unfortunate truth of the matter is, if they do play Emrakul, we actually lose. The reason being is because they can actually kill me with my own Walking Ballista. I suppose there may have been a consideration to play Tezzeret and go for Soul Guide Lantern. That would have allowed us to clear through their graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Actually, it would not have mattered. Yeah, this might really put a damper on things. 2 top, 4 bottom, and draw. 1 unknown in hand. Yeah, if they have the Emrakul, they win. And he thinks they're playing Emrakul. Why tap blue, though? Weird. Oh, well, okay. Yes. So, how do we want to proceed? Well, that's awkward as hell. We both are just sitting here with the win in our hands. I mean, I guess unless they don't realize how to navigate this, but if they just play Tez and Search, they'll see my Ballista and win with my own cards. Yeah, the Haywire Mites kind of screwed me up. I guess maybe I should have Ballista. Thing is, if I left the Ballista alone, then they would have just popped my Broodscale. I guess maybe I could have played around it by adapting? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I let this go and just see if they figure out the line, which they should. If they don't, I'll be shocked. A little bit of appalled, in fact. Actually, one thing I should do. Let me just do this, get this out of the way. Goodbye, Springleaf. That way they don't just play my Blade, exile it, and pass. At least this way they need to figure out the line, which they should. Oh, Tezzeret. You are unfortunately going to win my opponent the game. Rumble. Because, yeah, if they just Blade, equip Blade, sack, Tezzeret, minus, Ballista, win. Let's see if they can figure it out. Tezzeret isn't often used in Broodscale yet. I say yet because, in my opinion, it is very good. So this is Basking Broodscale Mirror. They rumbled. You could choose nothing. That is an option. But why even cast Rumble at all? That tells me they might not see the line, which is very good. They have 1 card in hand, so they don't see and they pass to me, I win. But there should be no reason why they wouldn't play Tezzeret and minus to search my own library. There should be 0 reason to not to do that. But the thing is, they actually can't go off now. Yeah, they messed up. because now they can't kill me with my own... Actually, did we go through both our ballistas? Hold on. No, just one. Where's my other ballista? Why don't I see it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, if they would have grabbed the ballista after equipping Blade to Broodscale with infinite mana, they could have just pinged me down. Yeah, so they missed the winning line. So I have a chance now to potentially win. I now have a chance. But it's going to be a bit difficult to execute, because it is going to be very dependent on what we draw. Okay. Well, this is why you don't concede, even though you know the winning line. It doesn't always mean your opponent does. They could theoretically, though, actually grab Pithy Needle and name Blade. Okay, yep. So they saw they had the win con, but realized they couldn't get it now. So instead, they're going to Pithy Needle and name Blade of the Blood Chief, which should mean now that I cannot without removing Pithy Needle, which I currently don't have the option to do, given that I've already used my Haywire Might. So that should lock up the game in their favor. Yep, they name Blade. Yep. Tezzeret triggers. Now, I'm not technically dead. We're not in a good position, mind you, but we're not dead yet. We could still very well win off of non-combat damage. We draw the right cards with Glaring Fleshraker, theoretically. There is a possibility. We'll draw Fleshraker, Boseiju. Boseiju doesn't cut it, which means that no matter what I draw into, whether it be a K command or otherwise, and we could play Blade, we'd be able to minus Tez. Tez would be able to grab what? I suppose we could grab a Bauble to redraw. That actually is a relevant consideration. So, let's start with Karplusan. Let's then cast Broodscale. From here, we can then cast Blade. It'll trigger the Tezzeret. Will always yield. I'll then minus Tezzeret. And I will grab a Soul Guide Lantern. I will adapt here. And always yes, always yield. We'll play the Soul Guide Lantern. It'll trigger, we'll grab something from their yard. Looks like either Walking Ballista or K command's the right choice. We'll grab the K command. And from here, I will, I suppose, pass and then hold. Because what we need now is a way to win off the top. Begin combat, swing at me for 13. Down to 9. End step. Crack the Soul Guide. Draw a card. Temple's not it. Which means I think we're out of options. Yep, we're out of options. We'll concede. Alright. So that is a loss for game 1, unfortunately. So let's take a look in this matchup. So we want this member. You could argue Fire Spout. Wastegate Battle Mage is good. Vexing Bauble really isn't applicable. Springleaf Drum is still good. Pithy Needle is still good. Might's still good. Soul Guide's still good. We can cut the Cavern of Souls. And we can cut Rumble, Fleshraker. And then we're still one over, though. I suppose we could cut an Emrakul. Let's see. Yeah, Fleshraker, Rumble. We want the Wasescape. We want Blades, Might, Needle, Soul Guide. I mean, I'm not always the biggest fan of Needle in this matchup, to be completely honest, because it oftentimes is just going to be symmetrical. So we could cut the Needle instead of the Emrakul. I think I'm tempted to do that. And I think we're good to run it back like this. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense to me. I do wonder if maybe it was right of me earlier in that Ballista trade-off to have Ballista their Might instead of their Ballista. Because yes, they would have grown it, and they could have done it again after. Yeah, I guess the fact they could have pumped it to a 3-3 made it to where even Broodscale couldn't adapt out of range. So I guess maybe I was right to get rid of that. Yeah, I think it was. Okay. Different potential lines, but all may have led to the same result. All right, let's run it back like this. And let's see. On the play for game 2. I will keep this hand. We have ways to go digging and ways to ramp as well, which I do like. Yeah, we'll play the Grove, cast the Halfling, we'll pass, and pass. Up to 20, Stomping Ground, Shock to 18, and they play a Stirrings. Another Grove, okay. And draw. Ooh. Ooh, okay. So in that case, let's set up with Rumble. And we're looking for Broodscale. No Broodscale, but we do have a Tezzeret. So I'll grab the Tez. In that case, I'm tempted to play the Blade, but it does leave it vulnerable to either Wasescape or Might. So I think I'll hold, though we do have a Tezzeret to dig again. That is a thought. Yeah, we'll play the Blade, but we don't need to. Actually, yeah, we do. All right, play the Blade, and then we'll pass. Like I said, we can always find another Blade of Tez. Right now, what we're really looking for is the Broodscale, and so we're going to use our green source to go digging for it. I guess I could have played the Karplusin and played both to go digging, theoretically. Rumble. With on the Stirrings, they do find a Blade and a Boseiju. They choose the E-Temp, though. I will draw. Ancient Stirrings. Play the Karplusin. Play Ancient Stirrings. There's Wasescape. There's Fleshrake. There's Saga. How many types do you have in Yard? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll grab the Fleshrake here. I will... 1, 2, 3... Well, Stirrings again. There's our Broodscale. Any order. We'll cast the Fleshrake. Alright, we have the combo set up. And if we don't combo, we still have a pretty strong hand here, in honesty. We'll pass in full. Imagine you play the Temple. You shouldn't have enough for Emrakul, thankfully. Because again, you only have 1, 2, 3 types in Yard. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're 5 short on the Emrakul. By comparison, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're 2 short of Emrakul. Not to mention we have the lethal state, but this looks like a Fire Spout. Yep. So that will do it. But again, we have the Broodscale. We can cast. We can equip. But we're short on the Dapt unless we find a land. A land will get us there. Is that a Stirrings? Soul Guide. Need to type in Yard, the K command. Makes sense. Draw. Land. Perfect. So that will allow us to go Broodscale. Adapt. Always yes, always yield. Equip. And with this, we're now able to cast Tezzeret and find Ballista. There's Ballista, and that's the game. And Bone scoops it up. Appreciate you, opponent, for not making me have to go through the entire process. Alright, let's bring the gemstone back, or the Cavern of Souls back in, cut the gemstone, and I think we run it back. Again, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Fire Spout in this matchup because, again, it is a symmetrical effect and often might just affect us just as much as it affects opponent. But I'd be interested in knowing your guys' thoughts, both in the comments and in chat, if Fire Spout does make sense here. But I think between, like, Wastegate, Battle Mage, Dismember, K-Command, Ballistas, I feel like we have so many ways to interact with things on board that the Fire Spout might be overboarding. But I'm not entirely certain. Regardless, we're going to back as is. We just need a land. Ideally a temple. A temple would be fantastic. We can use the Soul Guide as a redraw if worse comes to worse. I'll keep this though. We'll pass in full. Opponent does mulligan down to 6, which is promising. Let's see, what cards would you like to see off the top? Either Temple or Delighted Halfling. Delighted Halfling would also not be bad, necessarily. Temple. Cast Blade. Ooh. Draw. Tezzeret. Not what I wanted to see here. I'll play the Soul Guide Lantern again as a redraw. And we'll pass. I mean, if they set it up, they set it up. Yeah, the Broodscale. Rumble. They're also on halfling. Maybe they're on 2 halflings. They grab the Saga, or yes, they grab the Saga. Draw. Land. Wastegate. In that case, we redraw. Beseiju. Not ideal, but tolerable. I'll play the Blade, because if we do draw into a land, we can win next turn. Pass. And pass. Alright, we need a land off top, and we can win. Of course, that's granted they don't have any interaction. Or just the win of their own. Rumble. Grabs Beseiju. Yes. They do still have K-Command X equals 2 available to them, which is a bit rough. We'll draw. Land. Okay, so there's a couple different options here. We either go for it, and we hope they don't have K-Command. The other option is we can Wastegate Battle Mage, and we can exile the Blade of the Blood Chief. I mean, I think we just go for it, right? I think we do. Alright, let's send it. If they let this equip, I think we win, even if they have the K-Command. If they have the K-Command, they need to equip, they need to cast it now, is the bottom line. Damn. I mean, we knew it was a possibility, but, I mean, we forced them to have it at the very least. Is that yours? Those are yours. And those are mine. Alright, Broodscale down. We'll pass. Unfortunate. Alright. We'll pass in full. So now the question is whether or not we Wasescape. Other question, of course, is whether or not they just win on the spot. We have 3 more Broodscales in hand. They have 3 cards in their holding. This tells me they probably have another K command, geez. So my thought here is that we Wasescape Battle Mage, eat the Saga. Yeah, I think that is correct. We'll pass, because then it gets rid of a land at the very least. They make a construct, that's fine. Interesting, no K command then. Because if they had the K command, I think casting it just the setup for the win is correct. Whereas they didn't do that. I guess I should have equipped in retrospect. Whoops. Was a mistake on my end. Cavern of Souls. Name Eldrazi. Yeah, the Broodscale. Nope, another Blade. 2 unknowns in hand. Equip Blade. This is a 3/3. Equip Blade. Yep, makes sense to me. We'll get smacked in the face for 3. That is fine. And we'll draw. Yeah, that is a fair point. They could have waited for the Ballista. Whiff. Brutal. We could, of course, Besage you the construct. I suppose that is an option. Though I kind of like the idea more of grabbing a land, Tezzeret, and then what? What else do I have available? Of course, we can grab more blades. We can grab the Soul. Nope, Soul Guy's already been used. And I think we took out Needle, yeah. Maybe Needle wouldn't be a bad idea. So maybe we grab the Besage after all? We can pop the Construct. You play Flesh Rake. I don't know. This one's tricky at this point. Besage or... Because like popping the Construct ramps them, which I'm not a fan of because right now they're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I'll grab the Grove then. Any order. And I'm thinking we just go Flesh Rake here. I'll equip Blade, the Wasescape. You of course know they have the Besage. We'll go to combat. 2 types in Yard. We can make it 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still very much short on Emrakul. We'll pass in full at this point. Is the Flesh Raker of their own? Looks like it. Yep, Flesh Raker. Problem is now they can grow this construct like nobody's business. We'll have to take the hits here no matter what. Oh, they have a K command. They do X equals 2, 3. So that would 1, 2, 3 damage. So I'd be down to 14. They would then be able to 11 plus 6. So I'd be down to 5 theoretically. We'll take it. If you have the K command, go for it. Down to 14. We'll draw. Another Emrakul. Let's start with Tezzeret, shall we? Cast Tezzeret, trigger. Always yield. Always yield. I will cast Ballista. X equals 1. And then done. Triggers. This is where the fun begins. triggers. Always yield. Now I do have to be careful here because active player, non-active player, right? So active player, non-active, it'll put counters onto you, which I'm not thrilled about, mind you. How do you want to proceed then? Because I want to pop you. I can't do it this turn though, so I think I just put a counter onto Ballista and call it a day. Yeah? I think that might be right. The next turn we can grab another blade and put 2 blades onto Ballista. That seems beneficial. They of course can Besage you here, but if they're going to Besage you Ballista, I'm kind of okay with that. We can always grab another Ballista next turn with Tez. Okay, we'll hold at this point. No reason to attack. This is going to get a bit tricksy though. One unknown in hand. Again, they still have the Besage you. They could pop the Ballista, they could pop the Blade. If they go for either, we can replace them with Tezzeret. And also will ramp us. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ballista would then be 12. Yeah, we actually could go for exactly what we need. So I wonder if blocking with the Wastegate might be correct here, because we don't want to block with spawns, we don't want to block with Ballista. So blocking the Wastegate might make the most sense, and not to mention they're attacking the Tez. So yes, I'll block with the Wastegate. Not ideal, but I think it is correct. Again, it also adds a type to yard. Triggers. Those are yours until end of turn. Until end of turn. One card in hand. Do you Besage you? Equip Blade to Flesh Rake. That's awkward. Interesting, though. Do I allow it? We could Ballista. I guess it actually wouldn't add any more types to the yard. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll allow it. Because we can make use of active player, non-active player next turn with the Blade. Because again, we can go Blade equipped to Ballista. And I guess grab a second Ballista because they can always pop the Ballista with the Besage you. This has gotten intriguing. Windswept Teeth fetched down to 12. Okay, now what? Nature's Claim. Well, that is admittedly pretty annoying. So in that case, I will pop you. And pop you. So the one card in hand that we know of is Besage you. Triggers, the flash rate grows. You go down to 10 though. I won't gain 4 life, that's fine. And draw. K command. Ooh, hello. So I currently have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, now this has gotten interesting. So cast X equals 1, attempt to equip. They'll Besage you it though. The other option is the K command and just hold it. Also an option. I'll minus Tezzeret here. Let's force them to use the Besage at the very least. We'll go for a Walking Ballista. And we'll go X equals 1. And done. Trigger. So we'll drain him for 2. Triggers. And then I'll attempt to equip to the Ballista. I imagine at this point they're going to Besage you. Besage you targeting the Ballista, which will then allow me to ping them. Is it worth it to ping them or grab the land? We put this 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which means I can K command the Glaring Fleshraker and win? Yes. So in that case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we can just kill the Fleshrake and win. I'll just ping you then. Until end of turn. Until end of turn. Besage you. Blade. K command. Ramp and exile. And done. And then we equip Blade the Fleshrake. We sack. Triggers. 3 exactly. Phase change. Attack. And opponent scoops it up. Alright, we got there. Solid win against the Mirror. Not bad at all. And Tezzeret definitely put in some work being able to grab, whether it be Blade or Ballista, to close out the game. Alright, well, we'll be back for match number 3. Alright, we're back for match 3 on the play for game 1. I mean, we have Saga for Blade. We're just missing a Broodscale. We'll keep. I will play Forest. Here's the question, right? Like, we could play Forest, we can play Temple. I kind of want to play the Fleshraker then, but I think we are better off playing the Rumble, so probably better play the Forest into Saga. Yeah? Yeah. Let's do that. We'll play the Forest. Pass. We'll pass. What's our opponent on? They kept their opening 7. Red Belcher? Could be Red Belcher. Could also be Storm. So I would love to see a Vexing Bauble, Pithing Needle, even a Soul Guide Lantern. Any of our hate pieces would be good. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. There's Broodscale. We need to find a Blade. So Saga trigger. Rumble. Give me a Blade. Do it. Do it. Yes. Yes. All right. We're going to pass. And we'll pass. Oh, I think this is Red Belcher. Oh, shoot. They can win. If they have the right number of cards, they can win right now. Yeah, this is Red Belcher. Shoot. That's no bueno. Do you have it? What would you need? You would need Ritual, Ironcrag Feet into Belcher. Yeah? Ritual, Ironcrag, Belcher. I think that would be what they need. Ritual, Blood Moon. Actually really rude, because now I don't have the Broodscale. Shoot. I need a green source. Well, I was not expecting a turn 2 Blood Moon main. I'll be completely real with ya. I'll play the Temple. Let's play the Fleshrake. Blade is mana neutral. Let's do that. Tempted to equip it, but I don't think we want to yet. Because we can Walking Ballista. Yeah. Alright, we'll pass. That freaking Blood Moon, mate. So I need a forest off top. Either that or Tezzeret for Springleaf, or destroying the Springleaf. Springleaf would also work. I think I play, what, 3 forests, 1 Springleaf? So that is 4 hits plus the Tezzeret, 7 hits. You have 7 hits off the top. Paying cost for what? Ritual. Belcher. Oh, son of a... So I need to somehow win, or, again, find Tezzeret or a Pithing Needle. So we have 4 hits off the top. Plus the additional, what did I say, 4, so 8 hits? Draw. Damn it. Can we do anything here? How much damage can we deal, I guess, is the question. So we have the Grove, right? We can equip Blade to Flesh Rake. Equip Blade to Flesh Rake. Let's start there. We can then Ballista for 0. Trigger. Triggers. Always yield. We can Ballista for 2. Triggers. I can trigger 2 more times to 6. 8. We're short. Damn. Could I have played Ballista for 1? I guess I could have played Ballista for 1 to get 1 more in, but I don't think it would have mattered because, yeah, we can trigger 6. And then, yeah, trigger 6. We don't have ability to play the Broodscales. We go to combat, swing for 6, down to 6. We ping 2. I guess I could have pinged 2 before. Trigger, so they would have been at 3. So even with the additional trigger or activate ability of the Ballista the first time, they would have been at 2. So you're short. Yep, we'll concede. Damn. Turn 2 Blood Moon off the rip game 1? Was not expecting that. Like, game 2, sure, but game 1, that was unexpected. Okay, so how do you want to proceed here? Ironcrag Feat, I do believe, is sorcery speed. Let me confirm that. Let's go Scryfall. Scryfall. Ironcrag? Ironcrag. It is a sorcery. So we could argue Whale. Damping Sphere also seems relevant. Dismember, not so much. They don't run Ral. So Damping Sphere, yes. Vexing Bauble, no. Springleaf Drum, yes. Soul Guide, no. I mean, the matches have been going well so far, but this one really throws a wrench into things. Red Belcher, not something I was prepared for tonight. So Bauble, no. Springleaf Drum, yes. Haywire Might, I suppose, yes, in case they try and set up the Belcher like they did. I guess we don't need... We can cut the Gemstone. We can... I think we bring in the Warping Whale for the Ironcrag. I guess we also do want Wastegate because that Blood Moon, too. Huh. This is awkward. So maybe cut Rumble, cut Flesh Rake, cut to Halfling. Run it back like this. Alright, on the play for game 2. I mean, we're just missing the Broodscale again. Let's go for it. And hopefully they don't get absolutely shafted here. So in that case, how do you want to proceed? We could Ancient Stirrings on 1. Otherwise, we could play Blade. And potentially try and just draw in, but I think we'll do this. Found the Broodscale. So now we do need another land, though. I'd love to see a temple, admittedly. Land, tap, draw, halfling. So, what we can do then is we can play the Grove, play the halfling, cast the Blade. We'll pass. Alright, we have the win. Let's see if they have it faster. Well, they went on turn 2. They need Ritual, Ironcrag, Belcher. Okay, strike it rich. Draw. Besage you. I will proceed with Besage you. Play. Basking Broodscale. Equip. Ballista for 0, trigger. Always yield. Always yes. Always yield. Triggers. Flash Rake. And we got there. Alright, solid stuff. Alright. It's like 2 ships passing the night. Though I guess they do have a little bit more interaction by comparison with that Blood Moon. We'll cut the Cavernous Souls, as that should not be relevant here. And we'll run it back. Alright. Yeah, Red Belcher is really surprising to see, not gonna lie. The Damping Sphere is, I think, correct. So we go turn 1 Blade, turn 2 Damping Sphere. Alright, let's keep it. They dropped the 6, they dropped the 5. Love to see that. Means that we should be good. Yeah, I was just surprised to see a turn 2 Blood Moon main. That was kind of nutty. To be honest, I thought Red Belcher all but died. Gemstone, you're a bit late to the party, friend. Would have been nice if you returned sooner. Blade, we'll pass. And we'll pass. Alright, do they have the turn 2 win? Manamorphose, Mana neutral, draws a card. Ruby Medallion, that's fine. We have Needle. So we can Needle Belcher. Or we Damsphere. I think we Damsphere. So I'll play the Grove, cast Damsphere, and pass. And pass. Reunion, that's fine. It cost 1, but the next one will cost 2. Thinking we Wastegate Battle Mage the Ruby Medallion next turn. Draw. Besage you. Wastegate Battle Mage. Green. And eat the Medallion. And pass. This way, things cost their normal amount and then get taxed. We can always Pithy Needle for Belcher. They pass. K command. So I'm thinking we go play Besage you. I want to cast Flash Rake here. And equip. Go to combat. Swing. Down to 16. We'll pass. Tapped. Draw. Warping Whale. So in that case, let's start with Needle. Trigger. Trigger. Name Goblin Charbelcher. I will then go to combat. Swing for 4. Down to 11. We have K command X2. Manamorphose resolves. It's now being taxed, so there's a -1. Fisher tapped. What do you got? Phase change. End step. K command. I should be smart about this. Trigger. Always yield. Done. There's the Broodscale. So I'm going to put this top draw. Triggers. Not to mention we should just have lethal on board. So I don't think it really matters too much. Yep, they realize that too. We got there. All right, clean win against Red Belcher. We'll be back for match 4. And we're back for match 4 on the play for game 1. We keep this. We keep this all day. So we can turn 1 blade, but does leave it open to interaction. So the thought is instead we keep it in hand. We play Fleshraker on 2. And then we can go on 3. No, actually, no. We need another land. We can't guarantee that we'll have that. Whereas if we go Broodscale, I guess we'd still need another land, though, wouldn't we? No guarantee that we draw into it. Okay, so do we play into another land, or we play the blade now? If you don't draw into another land, we rumble instead? That's probably right. Let's go Temple, go Blade, and pass. So we don't draw into a land, we rumble. If we draw into another land, we Fleshrake. If they get rid of Blade, we rumble. Elegant Parlor could be Ruby Storm. Alright, being on the play here is going to be a boon, if so. There's K command, so no land. So in that case, we rumble. Because that way we'll have a spawn. We just need a land. Yes. Rumble. There is our land. I will grab, let's say, the Cavernous Souls or Grove. We'll go with the Grove. And done. Alright, we have the win next turn. If this is Ruby Storm, do they have the win on turn 2? Bloodstainmire. Blood Crypt. Oh, this is not Ruby Storm. What the hell is this? Overlord of the Bailmerk? That is A-okay by me, friend. Solitude. Oh. Is this Mardu? Mardu Blink? Oh, that's unexpected. Shoot. So that makes things complicated. Because now we don't want to feed the Broodscale directly into Solitude unless we draw into another Broodscale, I suppose. Flage. Interesting. So we have to consider that as well. We have 2 types in Yard. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll be 1 short of the Emrakul. A second Blade. So I'll play the Grove. Let's try and tease out the Solitude. Cast Blade, trigger, always yield. There's a Solitude. They pitch a Flage. Yep. Triggers Blade. And Blade on board. Okay. So we could just go for the win next turn. Fetch down to 16. Do you have a Flicker Wisp, the Flicker, the Overlord to grab back the Solitude? That would be a bit annoying if you did, admittedly. Yes, you do. Maybe there's a world where you don't play the Blade, but instead hold the K command. Maybe. Because now they'll grab back the Solitude, and we don't want to play into that. Yep, return Solitude as expected. Draw. The second K command. Okay, this gets interesting, though. So, I guess actually they had 2 Solitudes in the yard, so it didn't matter if I got rid of the first one. Damn. I do want to get rid of this Flage, though. Yikes. So I think even we ramp, we exile cards in yard. But I also want to get rid of this Overlord. I can't actually do that. But this Overlord just looping these Solitudes is a pain. I mean, I could bait them with the Basking Broodscale, but then I wouldn't be able to K command. Annoying. So yeah, I'm thinking we just K command X equals 2 then. Do we ramp exile cards in yard? I think so. Exile Flage, exile Solitude. I guess we could, if we're going to do that, ramp exile, exile 4. So go 1, 2, 3, Felia, 4. That seems reasonable. And done. Always yield. We don't want Flage on board. We don't want Felia, nor do you want the Witch Enchanter. If they want the Ragavan, take the godforsaken Ragavan. 4 types in yard. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We are 1 short on the Emrakul then. The Emrakul would likely result in them using Solitude. We're about to take 8 to the face. And they could pick up the Witch Enchanter to pop the Blade. Yep, they pick up the Witch Enchanter. We'll take the 8. Down to 14. Yeah, Mardu Blink was not on my list of things today. Marsh Flats. Sacred Foundry Shock down to 13. Fatal Push. Sack and Response. Flicker Wisp. Targeting. Spawn. Sack and Response. This K command would be mana neutral. Yeah, let's ramp Scrydraw. It now comes down to an interesting position of, do they have a white spell for that Solitude? I can't imagine that they would tap out without having that ability. Fleshrake, Beseiju. Beseiju can pop the Overlord, which is relevant. Top draw. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So my thought process here is that we play the Fleshrake, and we hope that they Solitude, and then we can Beseiju the Overlord. They do not. Well, now that's just annoying. Dashing a Ragavan. I really don't want them going for the Overlord. This is a bit awkward, admittedly. Alright. Let's pop the Overlord. I guess I should have started beginning of combat, actually. That's a whoops. Beseiju. Triggers. Surveil land. Yep. Flage to Yard. Combat. I'd rather they not pilfer, to be completely honest. Triggers. Raucous Theater, 3 in hand. We know one of them is the Solitude, and I think they have a Witch Enchanter still as well. Damn. So they definitely have a way to pitch for Solitude. Ballista. Okay, this might elicit a response. How many types do I have in Yard? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, not enough. So yeah, this might elicit a response. 1, trigger. Always yield. Because now with this, what I can do is go to equip. Because now from here, I can ping down their board. So I think they have to, yep, Solitude, ETB, targets. Evoke trigger resolves. Triggers. I have to ping down a Flicker Wisp, because if I don't, they'll flage me and win. So ping down the Flicker Wisp. Okay, what did you pitch, by the way? The Witch Enchanter, like I thought. So we know I have Ragavan in hand. Doesn't matter if I attack or not. It actually doesn't, because likely we're going to eat a Flage. So I guess if they somehow haste a Flage, we might have to block. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might have to block a Flesh Rake, so I need to hold here. Okay. We're going to hold. They have the ability to Flage, Helix to Flesh Rake. Oh, son of a... So they can haste the Ragavan plus the Flage? Yeah, that's a thing you can do. So I think I'm just dead. Because just from the Flage, ETB plus attack alone, that's 6, plus the Flicker Wisp in the air for 3. Dude. That's brutal. Why would you... Okay. I mean, yeah, I suppose. A bit confused by that, but I suppose. I mean, it doesn't exactly matter, I don't think, because you just ping the spawn. We sack. Trigger, pass. And we die. That was the worst case scenario by and large. Because, yeah, if we had gotten everything off board, kept the spawn, we would have been able to play the Broodscale, equip, and then make infinite spawns, infinite spawns, infinite tokens. Emrakul, take control of the turn, have them all attack into us, and then win from there. But no dice. The Solitudes really hurt me there. Alright, well, let's go to sideboard. We want Wastegate Battle Mage, Dismember, potentially Warping Whale. We can cut the Gemstone. We want the Soul Guide. We can pitch the Vexing Bauble. Let's see here. Rumble Fleshraker. Kind of want the Warping Whales in case they run Wrath. So in that case, I'm thinking we cut some number of Halfling. I think 2 Halfling, maybe cut the Haywire Might. The Haywire Might, I feel like it doesn't do a lot here because it's a very narrow line to Haywire Might and Overlord of the Bailmerk. It just isn't something that happens often. Wait, hold up. Well, I have Pithing Needle in here. Pithing Needle can go, which means I guess I can hold the Might in. But then again, I don't need the hold Might in. I could Burst Spring into the Halfling. Yeah, that's reasonable. Fire Spout's also reasonable. It's not my favorite because it doesn't cleanly deal with Overlord of the Baelmerk is my only problem. But it does deal with Clarion Conqueror and pretty much everything else that they have. Though Flage as well, it's a little bit roughened too. So, I'm thinking I keep it like this. I think that makes the most sense. I guess we actually do want Graph Diggers for the Flage. Yeah. So Graph Diggers is good. Cut the second halfling after all. That all seems reasonable, I'd say. And a Flage definitely throw a wrench into things. Well, I guess that's why they're playing it. But I'm surprised they're on this and not Esper. I feel like into the current meta, Esper makes more sense, but that's my opinion. On the play for game 2. I mean, we're just missing Broodscale because we have the Tezzeret for the blade. We have the Fleshraker for the finisher. We'll keep. We do need to play around the idea of White Orchid Phantom or Charmal. So playing the Temple early doesn't seem right. So I think we just go Forest, Rumble. I think that makes more sense at a glance. Forest, pass, and pass. Marsh Flats, fetch, 19. You have a Thoughtseize on one? Looks like it. Imagine you take... this is an interesting one. I mean, we have technically 3 finishers. And Rumble, I think you have to take either the Tezzeret or the Rumble. I don't think you can leave me with both. Ooh. Yeah, I think that was wrong, because I think that still gives me a finisher in both Tezzeret and Emrakul. But leave me with the Thoughtseize bug. Yeah, let's Rumble. Looking for Broodscale. We whiff on the Broodscale. We do find a Springleaf Drum. We also find a Wayscape. I think we grab the Wayscape. Yes. Yeah? Kinda want the Drum, though, to be honest. Drum is a huge amount of ramp. I'll grab the Drum. I will pass. Because next turn, Drum will be mana neutral. Yeah, basically we're just trying to ramp into Emrakul at this point. Alright. Because we can go Fleshraker, Drum, and I think into, of course, they have the Overlord. Charmal and Wrath. Ooh. Picks up the Charmal, of course. Draw. Forest. So, 1, 2, 3, Fleshraker. Drum, trigger. Yeah, I think we do that route. So, we'll end up eating the Charmal after all, but that's okay. Fleshrake. Triggers. For white. Tap. Tezzeret. Triggers. Tezzeret minus. For... We could go Graph Diggers. We could go Soul Guide Lantern to deal with the Flage. I think we might be in a good position to do that, to be completely honest. We'll go Soul Guide. Cast Soul Guide. Triggers. Tezzeret trigger. Soul Guide eats the Flage. And always yield. And at this point, I will pass. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I could put 9, but we're short on Emrakul still. The Soul Guide is a redraw at the very least, Arena of Glory. So what this will mean is that they're going to... Really, they're not hasting the Charmal. That's surprising. Yes, that's fine. Trigger. Draw. Draw. Ooh, hello. In that case, I am going to draw a card. Ballista. Can I win? Not sure I can win. Because we can 1, 2, 3, 4. X2 to 3. Though, then again, just by... Actually, hold up. I think I can win. 0. Triggers. ETB triggers. Minus. Blade. Cast. Blade. Triggers. Cast. Actually. Cast Broodscale. Triggers. And we got there. Thank you, Tezzeret. Alright, solid win there. Let's go to game 3. I want the gemstone back. We can cut the Cavernous Holes and run it back like this. So maybe they're not on Clearing Conquer, but they're definitely on Wrath the Skies and Charmaw. This seems really weak. I mean, so on one hand, we can dig deep. Like, right now we're missing Broodscale Blade. We have 8 hits off the top. Multiple draws. We can dig 10 deep. Opponents start if they're opening 7. Shoot, I'll keep it. I mean, if they Thoughtseize, they don't. Okay. Draw. Emrakul. Not exactly the card I wanted to see, admittedly. Well, there's Basking Broodscale. We'll grab Broodscale. So now we're missing the Blade. Yeah, that was a really fun sequence last game. Tezzeret can add a lot of value, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize just how much. So I feel like Ophelia's in store, right? That's not ideal. Ancient Stirrings. The Tezzeret makes sense, right? Because of Tezzeret, we can find Blade. Do I think we're going to be able to, like, sequence the win? I'm skeptical, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. So we'll grab the Tezzeret. We'll play the Karplusan, and from here we'll pass. Opponent's going to fetch, and then play Felia, most likely, I'd imagine. Let's see the Felia. Yep, there's the bestest boy that I absolutely loathe. Not a fan of the doggo. Overload the Bailmerk. Finds the Witch Enchanter, finds Emperor Bones. Chooses the Witch Enchanter, makes sense. Felia attacks, flickers the Overlord. Yeah, and this is where things kind of go topsy-turvy. Because now they find Solitude or SOL. Yep, so now we need... Wait, did I cut Vexing Bauble like a dummy? Why the hell did I do that? I don't know. You know what? I do not know. That was pretty dumb of me, not gonna lie. Okay. Wastegate Battle Mage is good. So what we can do here is we can kick. So, kick. Please don't have an Ephem. No Ephem. Overlord down. That's good. They still have the solid... Wait, what did you pick? Hold on. Returns Flicker Wisp. Why did you not pick up Solitude? Push. I guess that would probably tell me they have interaction in hand. I mean, they just pushed Witch Blast. Flicker Wisp. Flicker is Witch Blast. Shadowy Backstreet. Okay. Interesting. I mean, we can get rid of the Felia. Flicker Wisp. Flickers. I guess if they sequence this, they could Surveil 2. Otherwise, I can get rid of one of my lands. Okay, they do that. Okay. Draw. Ballista. Okay. So, we can do a few things here. 2 types in yard. We can play the Karplusen. We can A, K command X2, deal Ophelia. That seems appealing. We can B, Tezzeret. Tezzeret minus for Blade, and then set up for next turn. That's also tempting. I think I'm going to go for the K command, though. I think that might be correct. And I think I do that on end step while I don't have a white source up. We're going to ramp, we're going to exile. We're going to exile the Ophelia. And done. Ophelia down, and I will pass. And pass. I guess I should hold on the off chance they have a Flage. 4 cards in hand. Down to 12. Draw. Beseiju. Play the Grove. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I will cast Tezzeret. Minus Tezzeret. For Blade of the Blood Chief. I will hold. How many types do I have in yard? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We actually do have Emrakul next turn. Interestingly enough. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We actually had it this turn if we wanted. Maybe I should have played Emrakul. But now this does give us additional angle of attack. And with Emrakul, we do have perfect knowledge. Ophelia. Okay. So they can blink one of my spawns. Main. Go to attacks. I mean, they have to send both at... No, I guess they don't have to send both at me. We'll sack in response. It's a responsible thing to do. We'll take the 2, Tezzeret down. Adds another type to yard. And draw. 4 in hand. I mean, I think that Emrakul makes the most sense here. Because then it gives me perfect knowledge. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The only issue with doing so is means it does make me lose my win condition. Yeah. Means I am out of win condition as a result. Because we have to pitch the Broodscale, or pitch the Ballista. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 short. The other option is, of course, to go with Blade and Broodscale, but if they have Ephem, for example... No, actually, Ephem will get them there. So I guess it's Solitude, Fatal Push specifically. I think we go for the play. Then we go for Emrakul. Let's do it. So... 1, 2... Triggers... And pass. Let's see it. Do you have a Solitude? If you do, I mean, we get an additional 13 life. We have the Broodscale and Blade in hand. There's a Solitude. We can now flicker their own Solitude of Ophelia to eat the Ophelia. That's a real option. What do you have in hand? We can evoke, or we can exert. I guess now they can Solitude the Solitude. They evoked Wrath. So Solitude, Solitude? Probably right. I think it's Solitude. No, nothing? Interesting. Flicker Wisp. Oh, we can do fun stuff this turn. Okay, hold up. We actually can do really fun stuff with their own deck. Witch Enchanter. So we can... Interesting. So we want to Arena of Glory. We want to exert both of these. A lot of people do forget when I'm taking control of your turn, you should exert your Arena of Glories. It robs me of mana. So from here, what I can do is I can Flicker Wisp a land. Let's say Witch Blessed. Don't really want a Witch Blast because then they get another attacker. We want to Felia, Flicker, Solitude, the Exile Felia. That makes sense. We want to, I guess, Flicker Wisp, so that way we can flicker a land. We can play the Witch Enchanter. I don't think it matters at this point. So we will play instead of cast. And then we'll just hit them for 3. I then want to red. Exert. And then I want to Flicker Wisp. ETB. The Flicker Wisp. And then I want to Felia. Attack. Blink or Flicker the Solitude. I'll take the damage, end step trigger, Flicker Wisp, Felia, Solitude, eat Felia. Felia down, Flicker Wisp, Flicker, I suppose a black source? Yeah, we'll do that. I guess I could have flickered a Shadowy Backstreet, actually, to set up the next draw so I knew what it was. That may have not been a bad idea in retrospect. Yeah, because now we're playing without as much knowledge, or if I had done that, then at least we would have had perfect knowledge. I suppose. So now we either need one of two things. We either need a payoff, or I need another blade. Draw. Tezzret's a payoff. All right. Well, let's send it. Play the Bloodchief. Basking Broodscale. Equip Basking Broodscale. Adapt. Always yield. Always yes. Always yield. Opponent's lands go for it, which means we have the win of Tezzeret. Tezzeret. Minus Tezzeret. There's Ballista. And that's the game. Ooh, that was a nail-biter. But Emrakul was the right choice that allowed us to interact with their hand as much as possible. I think the only thing I could have done differently, I think I should have Flicker Wisp the Shadowy Backstreet so we had perfect knowledge. Because we were playing a little bit blind there. Not that we could have done much else, but I think this was correct. Or that line would have been better by comparison. But we are now 4-0 into match 5, which means we are going for the trophy, friends. That being said, we'll be back for match 5. All right, we're back for match 5 on the play for game 1. I mean, we're just missing the blade. I'll keep. We have plenty of ways to find it. And we can always use either Bauble or Soul Guide as a redraw. We have the Halfling here as ramp. Yeah, this is looking good. The question is what our opponent's on. That I genuinely don't know. That's always the unfortunate part, playing into the blind. Because, like, if it's, I don't know, Affinity, maybe I want to play the Bauble on one. Oh, hard to say. But I think just into the blind, Halfling's correct, and then we can play Soul Guide as a redraw or Bauble as a redraw if we deem it necessary. Opponent does mulligan to 6, which is relevant. What would be the worst case scenario here? Energy, maybe? Because, I mean, if it's energy and they pop my Halfling on one, then that's a bad spot for me to be in. Yeah, if this hand energy would be pretty rough. I think that's maybe it. I mean, I guess Murktide has Fatal Pushes, but it keeps their opening 6. We will go Karplusin, we'll go Halfling, and Halfling. Pass. Opponent didn't pass in full. Maybe a Force, maybe Otawara. Otawara. Ah, son of a. Now I'm wishing I played that Vexing Bauble. Mox Opal, yep. I mean, I guess we can play the Bauble next turn. Opal, Springleaf, Brutal. What else you got? 1, blue, Thoughtcast, draw 2. Ornithopter. 3 in hand, draw, Flesh Rake. Really needed a land there. Wants our play. I mean, I think we have to play the Bauble and have it stick. So in that case, we'll play the Soul Guide Lantern. We'll eat the Thoughtcast. Pretty inconsequential. They can't counter anything, which is good. We'll play the Bauble. That way they can't play any more 0 mana, but they should have dumped their hand of 0 mana. So I'm not sure that will be relevant. Bauble and pass. And pass. Really need a land here because we have the Flesh Raker, which is good. But I need a blade. I need a blade. I need a land. I need many a thing. Paying cost. A Kappa would suck. Kappa would really suck. But it won't be the end of the world. Galvanic Blast would be rough if they hit my halfling. So this Affinity. Not looking good for game 1. Yeah, that's Kappa. Tis a Kappa. Oh no! Kappa and Boots on 2? Well, I'm in danger. Alright. Well, there's the Grove. Okay, so what do we need to win? What do we need here? If I draw into the blade, can I win? We have 3 mana. If we play the Flesh Raker, and we find blade, what then? Flesh Raker, find blade. Let's say we draw into it. We Broodscale, we blade. We don't... Well, you actually would have enough, because we Broodscale, trigger, 1/2, blade, 1/2, equip Ballista, win. The other option is we redraw with the Soul Guide. Right now we're bound to take at least 10. Let's start with the Flesh Raker. We play the Flesh Raker. If we need an extra mana, we can always play the Ballista. We need to just hope that they don't grow the Kappa by 2. We're passing at this point, and we're hoping and praying. Trigger. That's 1. So any artifact at this point, even through the counter, wins. Yeah, damn. Yep, that is exactly 12. Brutal. Alright. Not much I can do about that. So that's a loss. Yeah, I mean, Kappa Cannoneer in 2 is pretty freaking good. So we want Wastegate Battle Mage. Yes. We can cut Gemstone. We want Bauble. We want Drum. Cut the Soul Guide. Cut the Needle. Keep the Might. Let's see what else. They sometimes do run Harbinger. They also sometimes run Moon. So the other thought would be bringing in Dismember. We could cut Rumble Flesh Rake, which opens up 2. So we could bring in Dismember. We also could bring in a couple of Fire Spouts. Not always the biggest fan of Fire Spout here, because it does get rid of the drones. It can get rid of the Pinnacle, but it can't get rid of the Kappa, which is honestly the biggest threat. But I mean, if they have drones plus constructs, the fire spout might be worth it. Dampening Sphere I don't think does enough because they're going to just dump their hand on one. So Dampening Sphere really won't impact them all too much, I don't think. I don't think there's anything I need to whale. So it's either Fire Spout or Dismember. Dismember can, keywords, deal with a Kappa. So I think we go with a Dismember. Run it back. Alright, let's see. On the play for game 2. I mean, we got everything. We just need lands. We got everything, we just need lands. Alright. And we will Stirrings. Show me a temple. No temple, but we'll take the forest. I'll pass. And pass. Alright. Can we get there before they go off? If they turn one Kappa, I'm dead. Well, okay. No Pinnacle Emissary. That's good. Saga. Trigger. Okay. Drum. Okay. Memnite. Opal Online. Ornithopter. Okay. This is alright. Draw. K command. So, what's our play here? We can... I think Springleaf Drum Blade. That way if we find the... or we play the Broodscale next turn, we can equip the Blade. Right? Yes. Alternatively, we play the Broodscale. Next turn we could adapt, but then we can't equip. So I think the Drum is correct. So Drum Blade probably is what we're going for here. Alright, so we will Drum. Actually, there is a concern here. They do have the option for Metallic Rebuke, which is a problem. They have the mana for it, or Consign for that matter. We have more copies of Blade than we have Broodscale, so baiting them with a Blade makes more sense. Do you have it? Because at least, ooh, interesting. It resolves. Okay. So no Rebuke, no Consign, it would seem. Interesting. I mean, next turn we can Broodscale, we can equip, but we can't win. We would need a Ballista to do that. Yeah. We'd specifically need Ballista. Another Saga. You attack for 1, or not? Okay. So this makes it interesting. Saga. Now here's the problem that I'm facing. If we do not go for it this turn, my thought is that they'll likely end up going for a Pithy Needle to name Blade. So I think it is correct for us to Broodscale and then equip the Blade so it's already equipped before they can Needle. However, I do not know if they have Might. Even if they do Might, we do have the K commands, and with active player, non-active player, we will be able to K command before its resolution. So I think it is correct for us to Broodscale. Yes. Broodscale. Again, I don't think they have the Rebuke or Consign, but they're paying cost for something. Is it a Construct? Or are you going to Rebuke? Blue? Nope, Construct. You could still Rebuke after, though. Ah, son of a... Yep, don't have enough mana for that, unfortunately. Brutal. And I think they might win, actually. Next turn is the problem. Because they can make another Construct. They can haste it with Boots. That will be 12, 13, 14 damage. Ooh. We're in danger now. I mean, I guess the other option was we could have K-commanded. try to play around the Rebuke, but again, the problem is that if they go for Needle or for Might, then we're SOL. So I think we were correct to play into it. But this is looking a little bit green, methinks. Yep. Do you have boots? The boots would be pretty aggressive, admittedly. I'm not dead. So it might just be right to either... Well, they can't Might, so I guess they could Needle. But we don't have another Broodscale is the problem. We can, of course, K-Command, Exile, K-Command, Exile. But then they do have another one. Brutal. Am I dead? 8, 9... No, I'm at 1. Which means I can't tap the Carplucin for colored. Ooh. Draw. Blade. Blade's not what I need. So we can do what? I mean, we can K-Command for 0. K-Command for 0. I need to wait until combat, because likely what they'll grab off a Saga actually doesn't matter. Oh, this is rough, because if they just equip Boots or, I don't know, Shadow Spear to Ornithopter, I don't think I can do anything. Yeah, that's right, the Boots do have Ward. That is right. I almost forgot about that, to be honest. It's hiding there behind a construct, so I need to pay 2. Oh no, or I need to pay 1. So I'd need to make sure... Oh, I don't think I can do anything, actually. No, I think I still can. I don't know, actually. I might not have enough. I might not have enough. Because we can X0. I guess... X... No, I don't think I have it. I'm trying to think if there's a way out. Because if they just put Boots on you, Shadow Spear on something else, I think they just win. Yeah. Another Saga, Jesus. Interesting, they didn't grab Shadow Spear. That's weird. So we could K-Command the new construct. That'd still leave you. The problem is I actually can't cast 2 K-Command, can I? Because I don't have another colorless. Because Springleaf can't generate colorless, which means I can only K-Command X equals 1. Yeah. And because of that, I can exile, I can block. But then it still leaves 2 behind. Oh, it doesn't matter then. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, we can do this. X equals 1. It's down. We have a blocker. Fine, right? But then we can't cast the other K command, because then we would need to block exile. Even then it wouldn't matter. Yeah. Block, exile, 1 would still come through. No dice. Alright, we concede. Unfortunate. But, I mean, they had everything they needed. Maybe I should have played around the Metallic Rebuke, but again, like, if I didn't, then I feel like they just would have been able to Needle. Obviously, they went for the Boots because they felt confident at that point, but they Needled and we weren't equipped and we were SOL. Yeah. Hard to say what the right choice was there. But unfortunately, it does not matter. Sometimes win some, sometimes lose some, but hey, I still can't complain. That's a 4-1 record at the end of 5, and pretty close to the 5-0. So solid league. I mean, Broodscale is still performing very well, especially with Tezzeret. Let's actually take a look at what my win percentage is of Broodscale right now. As of right now, Basking Broodscale, we're sitting at 67.74% across 31 matches. So, I mean, that's pretty freaking good. That is pretty freaking good, I'd say. And like my season match percentage right now is 60.10. But I will say that's including my really bad record with Tron. I'm actually kind of curious. What's my season record without Tron? Like, not E-Tron, just like a regular traditional Tron. Across 161 games. I mean, yeah, we're sitting at a 63.98 record for the season. Pretty freaking good. So, I mean, I'm happy with the results. I'm happy with the deck list that I have currently. I still think Chrysalis might have its place in I think Chrysalis is still very well valid. I think the Ugins Lab version's also valid. I like the Ugins Lab version less. I think that's my least favorite one, arguably. Just because sideboarding is kind of hell with that version. The Chrysalis one, at least, you can sideboard relatively easily. In the same way that you can with Tezzeret, I feel. But overall, happy with the list, happy with the games, happy with the matches. And that there will end today's YouTube video. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do consider hitting the like button, comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. It'd be much appreciated. For as much that I hope that you all learn from me in both my success and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have reached the point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button as we're getting closer and closer to our next goal of 1,000 subscribers, at which point we'll be able to start monetizing these videos, which will allow me to start, or continue rather, paying off my new streaming PC so I can continue streaming live over on Twitch, where this video was recorded. So if you haven't already, make sure to stop on by over to my Twitch channel, hit the follow button as I go live Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. CST, and then Friday through Sunday, normally at 8 p.m. for the challenges, unless there is a premiere event. For example, next Monday, I'm gonna try and take it off of work so I can make the 9 a.m. Modern RC Super Qualifier. Not that I need to qualify for anything, I think it just would be fun to play in. But with that being said, if you do want to support me monetarily in the meantime, you can either join me over on Twitch, where you can subscribe or watch the ads as we do run them between matches, or you can move or join my Patreon, where you can get early access to my new videos. With that being said though, folks, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye!